Hi there, welcome to Programma's Demo on Demand video. My name's Lexi, Senior Account Manager and fellow interior designer. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through Programma's core feature set. Now, if this is your first time interacting with us, welcome. At its core, Programma is a product management and project management software, meaning we are streamlining the process all the way through from concept design, design development, construction, and procurement. Now, starting off, diving in, what I'm showing you here is a finished project dashboard. So this is where your entire project comes to life. Whether you're sharing your product selection sheets, your concept boards, presentations, or client questionnaires, all the way through from client contracts and all of your construction drawings as well as invoices. Everything does live in one place and is all on a cloud-based software, meaning it's constantly being updated, saving you from having to share the same documents and information over and over and over again. Once you start your Programma 7-day free trial, you'll end up on the main projects page. So this is where all of your projects live, and you do have access to all of the tools on the platform during your free trial. So to get started, where I'd recommend is literally at the very top left-hand side here is the Getting Started page. So this is step-by-step breakdown on how to set up your studio and how to start your first project. My number one recommendation would be to import any existing data that you already have. So it's super simple. All you need to do is hit this Migrate Existing Schedule button, which will bring you to this page where you can upload any of your existing product data right into the platform to get you up and running in no time. Down the bottom here is also our tutorial library, which is just other short form videos to help get you up and running. Now I'm just going to head back to the projects page here. So as I said, the projects page is the home page of the entire platform. So all of this tools on the left-hand side, the studio, all of your financials, the procurement hub, and all of these general libraries all connect back into your projects. Top right-hand corner, hit the Create Project button. From here, you can enter your project name. So I'm just going to do an example project as it's residential, the time frame. So this is just a general start and end date for the entire project where I can work through the calendar to start to build out my Gantt chart in the future. Scrolling down the bottom here, we have project description, project addresses, so your client address, and you can change your project currency, measurement system, and your tax preferences all at project level. Your tax preference is set as a default, but you can change it if you would like. Now down the very, very bottom here, you can assign the project to specific team members if you wish. So I'm just going to hit Create Project, which then again will pop up here on my main page. Now, a handy feature, if you hover over the top here, you can pin your top 5 projects, which will then show up on the left-hand side as a quick navigation to pop back into those projects moving forward. Now, whether you want to start a new project from scratch, or you can utilize our Programma templates just by hitting the 3 dots here and duplicate said template, which then I would rename with my client name just by going into the project settings under the duplicate copy. So I'm going to bop back and forth between the example project and a project that's finished so you can have the different perspectives on some examples of what a finished project will look like, as well as getting started on your own. So heading into the example project here, there are 2 file types on Programma. So the first is the pin board. This is our mood board presentation tool, which I use in that initial concept phase of the project. And then your schedules refer to all of your selection sheets, FF&E, hard finishes, plumbing fittings, etc. If you need to add any extra files, you always start off with 2, but you can hit the Create File button in the top right-hand corner. As you'll notice here, that we also have a Canvas sharing component, which is excellent for creating more robust presentations, proposals, questionnaires, etc. that you can embed directly into Programma. So starting off, I'm going to create a schedule here. So let's pretend that I'm doing a kitchen renovation. So just at the very, very top, you can double click on the unentitled schedule. And the reason I'm showing you this from scratch is I really want to emphasize how easy it is to get started. So once you create that schedule, then you're going to have sections. So again, depending on the type of project, you're either setting this up by room or you can set it up by product type. So I'm going to do mine by product type because I'm just doing a kitchen renovation as an example. Okay. Now, as I've made this section, you'll notice that there's 4 different ways to get products into the schedule itself. So you have the add from URL button, which is as it sounds. You copy and paste a web link from a different website, product website, and pop it right into here. Or if you utilize the templates, you can hit the 3 dots on the actual product and hit update from product URL. So let's pretend I want cabinet, we'll say cabinet poles. Then I'm going to do update from URL, head to my website here. So I'm on Low & Co. supplier website. I'm going to go back to Programma, paste that in, and update. So that's going to fill in that one line item. Now, while that's going, should take about max 30 seconds to fill that in. I'm going to bring your attention to the Programma web clipper. So this is literally a game changer. It is going to assist you with all of your product data. So this is how you would get items into your schedules, so your specific project, into the product library to save items for later, or you can also create your mood boards with the web clipper. It's pretty epic. You'll see on my top right-hand corner, I'm working on Google Chrome, so this is a widget, or an extension, I should say, that looks like the Programma logo. Now on your web clipper, you have the option to clip to schedule, as I said, pinboard or the product library, and all you're going to need to do is hit the Smart Fill button. It's going to pull all the pictures, product data, measurements, etc. So you're going to need to add your quantity in because it doesn't know how many you want. But my favorite thing about this too is it actually pulls your attachment sheets. So those extra pesky downloads that we have to keep track of, if you hit the PDF, it'll actually save it to the product. So then I'm going to clip this right into my example, kitchen plumbing. That's gone green, voila. And I can quickly add this to my product library too and save that for later. Clip to pinboard, you'll notice that it pulls all of the pictures from this website, which is super, super beneficial when you're kind of in that initial concepting phase and you just want to pull together a couple different options to share with your client. So now we're back in our schedule. You'll see I have the cabinet pulls that's been updated from the URL, and then I also have this faucet that's been added in from my web clipper. So if I hit this details tray, you can see you can have multiple images. I can favorite my main picture. You can inset pictures on top of each other, which is really great for furniture. Usually I use it for having fabric swatches on top of each other. And if you want to be really fancy, you can utilize our background remover, which in about 0.5 seconds, it makes everything look nice and neat because I know we're very particular. Now, the next thing I want to show you is adding products from the library. So that is this second option here. So over time, obviously when you're first starting out, you might not have as many options in your library, but this is something you can build over time that your entire team can utilize. So I just searched up a sink that I already had in my library and it added it right in. So now within about 3 minutes or so, I already have a couple products in my schedule, no manual data entry, but obviously I can go in here and edit them if need be. Obviously, our goal is to move from specification to client approvals to invoicing to procurement. So again, that's all done from your schedule and Programma. So it's really, really making the entire process super efficient because you're not double doing any data entry. So you have your summary tab and then the financial tab, which has all of your costing. You can easily add markup percentages to then calculate your profits. Now, as you can see, I've already marked everything for client review, meaning I'm now going to send it off to that client portal that we saw at the very beginning. So that is how you can get direct approvals and feedback right from your clients. There's a ton of different statuses, which I would 100% recommend utilizing because this is going to keep you organized, as I said, from that concept phase through to procurement. You have all of those statuses to track your progress through the whole project. To share, there are 2 different functions. You can easily add items to the client portal just by adding in a client's email address, and you do have control over everything that they see and everything that you share. So it is very fail-safe in terms of it's only going to share your client pricing, for example. And you can turn on and off who gets approval. So in theory, every single person that you share this with could have a different view on that dashboard. The publish to web link I typically share with my builders or tradespeople, as this is more of an individual web link that is also associated to a QR code. So this QR code can go on site, it can go in your project binders, anybody can scan it and they'll have access to the most updated versions of your schedule, which would look something like this. So you can have it in day summary mode or the grid mode, and it will tell them when it was last updated, and they can also export a PDF hard copy right from your live link. You can always export a PDF or an Excel sheet if you would like hard copies of any of your documentation. So you can export individual tear sheets or the entire schedule into a beautifully laid out PDF format. Over time, as you move through that approval process, everything will pop up here on that project dashboard that we looked at the beginning, where your clients can come in here where it says feedback required, and it essentially acts as your proposal. So in this one, in example, I've set it up by room. So I have all the products, the total cost, and from here they can approve all, reject all, or do it one by one and leave you feedback, which then again filters back to your live schedule. It'll be date stamped, time stamped with the client's name, so you do have version history of every single thing that has been approved or denied, as well as every time you respecify something, you do always have the back-end history of all of that. Before we move on to pin boards, I'm going to show you a couple different examples of how you can set up these schedules, as I know we just did a short one together. So you can either have them set up by fittings and fixtures, you could do them by, you could have a furniture proposal, for example. I have a separate one for lighting and electrical, materials and finishes. You could even have a door and window schedule, a paint schedule. Again, it's really up to you and your studio of how you actually want to set things up, or if you want to do it by room. Again, kind of depends on the type of project that you're working on, but that's something that myself and the other account managers can help you with to get you set up and give our expert opinions on the best way to utilize the program for your studio. Now with the pin boards, I love these because you can make a really clean and aesthetically pleasing presentation in a couple of minutes. Again, I use this more so for the actual concept phase, and then I use Canva for my more in-depth presentations. A lot of designers still use InDesign or their presentation tool of choice. So there's 4 different ways that you can get images into your pin boards. Just hovering over on the right-hand side, there's this plus button. And my favorite part about this is the add from Pinterest feature. You can take your Pinterest boards, go back into Programma, and paste that live link in, which then auto-populates all of your pictures right from Pinterest. So you can refine this down and then add them in. So in a couple clicks, you can drag these around. You can make the images bigger, crop them to line them up. And you can also click to add notes. So once you're done playing around with your pin board, you can create something that looks like this. So a nice, cleanly laid out mood board that I can share with my clients to get their opinions on my presentation. So this turns into a mini website, which again, I think looks really clean, professional, makes you look put together, and it can live on that project dashboard for everything in one place. You've gotten all of your product approvals. You can start to utilize the other tools within Programma. either the purchase orders, invoices, or your procurement hub, where you can do all of your order tracking, add your tracking numbers, track your shipments, update the status, whether this has been ordered, the payments have been made, it's in transit, etc. Everything is clean and all in one place, directly syncing back to that schedule over time. Lastly, and maybe more importantly, we have our project management tools. So inside every single project, you have a project management tab at the very top. So from here, this is actually how you would manage yourself and your entire team and all of your to-do tasks across the entire project. So you do have the ability to utilize our templates within Programma, where you can duplicate all of the different phases and tasks that we've already created, or you can edit them to create your own verbiage if you use something like stages instead of phases. That's really up to you. Now, each phase is associated to a time frame. Again, this is how you would start to build out that timeline view, which I'll show you in a second. So you can see all of the team members that are working on this project, whether it's just a planned project, an active project, or the project is wrapped up. You can track all of your time against different tasks within the project, and you can see all of that within the 3 different views. So this is our board view, which is a Kanban style system, and these are what I refer to task cards. So task cards have a overall description, a internal description, subtasks. You can assign the task to specific team members, assign a due date for said task, and assign that task to a specific phase of that project. You'll notice here that there's a little stopwatch button, which is exactly as it sounds. So this is how you can track your time against all of the tasks that you have in the project to make sure that you are staying on budget and you are continuing to be profitable within the project. Change this over to the list view if you prefer to view all of your tasks in a list, or the timeline that I mentioned, which is more of your Gantt chart style. Now, the best part of this, I would say, is the studio management. So if you are someone like me that's typically managing multiple projects at once, or you are the project management manager of a studio, then this is going to be your one-stop shop to track the entire team and all of the projects and where they're sitting. So again, similar layout, but you have more filters within the studio. So you can filter down by a specific team member. So I could click on Lexi. I could check up on a specific project, or I could say, okay, Lexi, what am I working on this week? And it'll give me a list that way. So it's just a great way to kind of see a quick snapshot of everybody's workload for the week. In my to-do list, and then within your timeline view, similar Gantt chart style, but now I can see where all of my projects are actually overlapping. So I can see what's in construction at the same time, what's in procurement at the same time, where do I have gaps to potentially take on a new project. So this is a great snapshot to compare all of those projects across the month, the quarter, or the whole year. Underneath studio management, you have your time tracking, where again, you can see all of your individual tasks, all of the projects or your team tasks. You can filter this down by specific project, time period, or a team member, and you can export this to Excel for a more detailed report if you need to do that for any time billing. The time tracking does also sync over to our invoicing feature, so you can easily pull all of those billable hours into an invoice for your team. Lastly is the to-do list, which again is as it sounds. It's more of a personal to-do list that's not necessarily project specific. So again, wrapping up, you have everything all in one place. I have my presentation concept boards. I have my selection sheets that are going off to clients, contractors, builders, all of the stakeholders in the project. I am saving a ton of time utilizing the AI built-in features to input that product data extremely quickly. And then I can also track all of my to-do tasks to make sure I am on task and on track of the project. To get you started on setting up your account, that's just in the top left-hand corner here where mine says Program and Design under Settings. So you can go through, fill out your studio settings. That's how you upload your logo. If you scroll down here, any information, the terms and conditions, is very important if you would like to have that export out on all of your schedules. I would go through your team. You can invite all of your team members to your one account, so not everybody's making their own account. You're just inviting them via email. Invoices, tax rates, integrations, etc. It's all here. So I would go step by step through there. And then if you ever get stuck or need help, you can hit this need help button in the bottom left-hand corner. That's our live chat function. So hop on there, send us a message. We love to chat, and we want to make this onboarding process as easy as possible. We look forward to having you on the platform. See you again soon.